What's going on, disciples, and welcome to another video. So on Thursday, I got an email from Sony Entertainment saying that I was selected to be a part of the PlayStation 5 2.0 beta update. And what that means is that it's the first major system update for Sony PlayStation 5 since it came out in November. And finally, Sony is letting you expand your console storage from 667 gigabytes of usable storage and add your own PCIe Gen 4 solid state drive. And that's what we're gonna do today. So today, I'm going to sit here and do an install on my PlayStation 5 with one of the many selected NVMe M.2 drives that I purchased. So I got the Samsung 980 Pro PCIe 4. That's very important that the drive that you select for your PlayStation 5 be in PCIe 4.0, NVMe M.2. So the 980 Pro is one of those drives that has the rated speed right out the box. It's one of the most available drives that you can have or that you can purchase for your next gen console. And of course, I got the 2 terabyte in that one. I also got Western Digital Black. This was the actual drive that was recommended from PlayStation's 5 developer Mike Cerny as his go-to drive for that purpose of installing for the extended storage drive. So I got a 1 terabyte in that. I'm currently waiting on back order for the Heatsink drive, so I might take this one back if I'm able to get that one, or if I, of course, the one I would rather prefer is of course the Seagate Barracuda 530. So trying to get one of those drives, but I was selected as a beta tester for the new program, the new beta testing, and because of that, I want to go ahead and test it out, make sure the feature works, and of course, start evaluating that, because as a beta tester, that's what you're supposed to do, test out the equipment, making sure that, the user interface, and I'm pretty sure that Sony's going to have a survey that they want us to go ahead and fill out at the end of the testing. Beta testing normally lasts anywhere from 30 to 45 days, so you can probably expect that soon this actual update from Sony going to come forward around that time, probably beginning of September, mid-September, which is good. It's like right on time. We've been waiting for this. Now, because of these drives, we have to have a heatsink. And I was able to get this heatsink on Amazon. The link's down below in the description. Matter of fact, these 2 drives right here in particular are readily available at local locations such as Best Buy. So it's not really hard to find these solid state drives at all. So if you're looking to pick one up, you can probably go to your local Best Buy and be able to get either one of these. Like I said again, Mike Cerny, the developer for the PlayStation 5, recommends that this would be the drive that most people purchase. So when Sony announces something and they say that, hey, this is the one that we prefer you to use, you could probably use that one, but you can use this one too as well. And as long as it is 4.0 Gen 4, you'll be okay. So it doesn't matter which one you go with and stuff like that. Of course, I have my preferences. I would love to get my hands on the Seagate Barracuda, but currently out of stock, on back order. It's very hard to get. Hopefully that changes soon. But if your drive, because they sell these, they sell this one, this Western Black, with its own heatsink and stuff like that. It's a little bit more pricier than the 1 terabyte, but you can get these for about $200. And the offset with the heatsink enable will already on the drive. Might be a couple more dollars, but those ones are very hard to come by. They're unavailable on most general sites, Amazon, Newegg. So don't beat yourself up if you can find this one. It's all good. You just need to get a heatsink. and these are running out too. So I definitely suggest that you know, if you're gonna get internal expansion drive, you definitely get one of these. Sony recommends that you use a heatsink. Do not try to attempt to use this solid state drive without using a heatsink. So we're gonna go ahead and do a quick video where I'm gonna show you how to install the solid state drive into the heatsink. I'm gonna install this 1 terabyte into my main PlayStation 5. This one, to be honest with you, I wanted to put this one into my main PlayStation 5, but I'm probably going to hold on to it for a little bit to see if I get a chance to be able to get that fire cooler, and then of course I can go ahead and return this back, you know, unopened, and, you know, just say, hey, I had a chance to buy a fire cooler, or I had a chance to, because I'm still working on that, or the Heatsink 7000 solid state drive. So with that being said, let's get into it. So I probably should have already pre-opened this box, but you know, like either way, no matter what, I'm gonna at least even if I decide to go with a different solid state drive for my main rig, I'm gonna definitely I'll just put this one into my other PlayStation 5. You know, it is a terabyte, and like I said, it's definitely one of the ones that PlayStation recommends. So definitely put that away, that to the side. And sorry, kind of like shift it around. So that's the solid state drive. As you can see, very small, you know, goes into the PCIe port on your PlayStation, and we're going later on, after we install the heatsink, we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna show you how to install that into your PlayStation 5. But yeah, very small. So what you want to do is you want to take the heatsink, let's go ahead and get some of this stuff out the way. And the reason I got, you know, a couple different screwdriver heads right now is because you know, it's different size screws on the PlayStation and also on the heatsink as well. But look, that's nifty. It came with its own screwdriver, so you know, all in one and stuff like that. So definitely, you know, recommend getting this product right here. You know, it's definitely as long as the heatsink is metal. It doesn't have to be specifically this one, but as long as it's two-sided. And I've seen people use one-sided ones, but as long as it's two-sided, you want to go ahead and put the thermal tape on each end, and you want to sit the actual solid state drive lining up with the back ends in the middle. So you got your thermal strips right here that comes separate, and they actually give you extra ones in case you mess them up, but you want to put it on a non-adhesive side. That's what you want to do. And I know that kind of goes without saying, but you definitely want to sit there and say it. Just like you definitely want to sit there and tell somebody that, okay, you need a PCIe Gen 4. If you want to go like the cheap route and stuff like that, at least at a minimum, make sure that it's a PCIe Gen 4 solid state drive. Because you definitely don't want it being a situation where you definitely don't want to be a situation where you go ahead and spend money on a solid state drive and you can't even use the thing. So you take off the first adhesive side and you line it up with the back of the actual heatsink. And you might have like a little excess, but you want to make sure that you don't cover up that little divot that's in the middle right there, because that's where you're gonna actually connect your heatsink to the actual base within the PCIe slot. So I'm gonna use care. and it's going to be adhesive tape on this side too as well. So you want to make sure that you remove that adhesive tape right there too as well. And go ahead and take that off because you don't need that. And what you want to do is you want to line the drive. You want to line the drive with that actual divot right there. Right there, just like that. You know, having this access is not a bad idea, you know what I'm saying? Just, you don't need to adjust it, cut it off, anything like that. Just make sure that, you know, it actually covers that old solid state drive. Then you want to go ahead on the top of the heatsink. You want to take the other adhesive strip and you want to line that up too as well. So I'm going to go back here, making sure it fully covers, but it excludes the notch within the heatsink. Then you want to go ahead and remove the adhesive on that side and place that on the top of the heatsink. Now, most important thing, this right notch that's right here, this has to be probably facing the right side of the heatsink. That's the only way to install it. So you definitely want to make sure that, you know, you're paying attention to that part, you know. So this should be all facing the right side. And as you can see, it's not much deviation, you know, this only goes on one way. So want to make sure that you line that up. Just so. Make sure that the bolts line up too as well. In this heatsink, make sure you don't buy none of those plastic heat sinks, you know, because they do sell those ones, but that is not the one that you want. They're probably more than likely going to overheat melt. So as long as you have a metal one, whether it be aluminum or whatever type of alloy that it is, make sure that it's actually metal. You know, you don't want to sit there and have something plastic. You also don't want any type of retaining, you know, like rubber bands or anything like that, any like rubber molding holding the heatsink together. You definitely don't want that, because that stuff gets pretty hot and it's gonna melt, and you can wind up damaging your PlayStation and probably possibly setting a fire or something. So you definitely don't want to have to do that. Put all that stuff to the side. So you take out your screws and you want to make sure that you install all the screws in there. So you have 3 on this side and you have 3 on this side. Now it does come with like a black screw in here, but you know, I'm looking at the actual, I don't know if that's something else that's required, but I don't really see a spot for that black screw. So I would just keep that in mind, that it does come with a black screw. Not really sure what that black screw is for. Alright, sit back and look at the directions and see exactly where that black screw goes at. So as you can see, the head is very small on this one, so you want to make sure that you have a pretty small, you know, drive to go in and use it. So I'm pretty sure this one is bigger. Well, no, so this one will work. So you go ahead and put your retaining screws in, and you don't need to crank down on it, just making sure that it's tight. You know, don't use all your strength. And after you get that side retained, backside, screws are very small, so be careful with it. Make sure you have in the area where you don't really mind working at, you know, so you don't lose these screws. So like a little area to work on. That one's not trying to go in. I don't know why. Could be stripped out. Possibly could have got stripped out. But maybe it's just a bad screw right there. Yeah, see, that one works better right there. So there you go. You have your heatsink installed. Good to go. So as promised, this is my main PlayStation 5. This is, of course, I switched out the battery plates and put on the red CMP plates that I had ordered a couple months back. I actually got a video, so you want to check that out. You see me install the red plates on my main PlayStation 5. I also got a set of D brand plates as well that I installed on my secondary PlayStation 5. But we're gonna go ahead and get into the install of the solid state drive. So if you're looking at the PlayStation from the front, you know, you will see that you don't need to take both side plates off just to install this solid state drive. So you basically, if you're looking head on, it would be the right side, the disk part, the disk drive part, or the right side on the non-disk drive. Of course, if you have a digital version, what I meant to say, you would have that right side of the PlayStation if you facing the head on. So what you want to do is you want to flip your PlayStation over, and as you can see, this is the front side of the plate, and this is the actual disk drive portion. So you want to go ahead and flip that onto the front side of the plate, and you don't want to use that, you know, because I've seen people mess up their PlayStation and trying to take the plates off. You know, it's really simple. You just need to apply pressure at the bottom, and you want to lift straight up. You want to hear a little click, and it comes off just that easy. So when you do that, you go ahead and set that plate to the side. You can see the expansion drive slot right there, and it's really cool because, you know, it's got all the little PlayStation icons, button icons on the side, and it's a smaller size screw. So you want to go ahead and open up that expansion slot right there. Take that screw off. It's a really tight screw. Make sure you get it all the way out. Be sure not to damage any of the threads, because that would suck. And you want to lift up on that enclosure right there. So as you can see right here, you gotta be cognizant about the actual length of the solid state drive that you put in. But normally if you set it around the 80 mark, and these are all marked 30 for 42, 60, and 80, you want to go ahead and take that little divot out right there. That's the retaining screw, and you want to go ahead and unscrew that, of course, just like so. And it has like a little post as well. These screws are very small, so you want to definitely make sure you have enough room to work on it, and or have a magnetic screwdriver. So you got that little screw right there, and this post right here, you want to post it in the 80 spot right there, like so. But you want to make sure that you have enough clearance room to be able to properly put in your solid state drive with the heatsink. And like I said, you want to make sure that that notch right there is definitely on the right side when installing it. Don't try to force it, you know, just use it. As you can see, it's pretty much rocket science, but you know, for the inexperienced novice person, you know, I've put computers together before and stuff like that. You really don't want to mess your machine up. And you'll hear like a little click, you know, when installed properly. And as you can see, everything just lines up. That's why it's always important to have a low profile heatsink, because you want to make sure that in that expansion bay, it actually fits. So you have your post and you have your screw. All you need to do is put your retainer screw into that post, your screwdriver, and screw this all the way down. When a hand twists, you don't need to tighten it down or over tighten it down. Just want to make it like hand tight. As you can see, everything's flush, fits in the reservoir, really clean looking. And you go ahead and of course put your cover, your expansion slide cover back on. Your retaining bolt. Screw everything back in, nice and tight. Like I said, you don't need to put too much on there. Just make sure that it's nice and secure. And of course, seat your back plate back in place, and you're good to go. So we're back at the PlayStation, and as soon as you turn your PlayStation on, it prompts you that you need to format your new M.2 solid state drive. So what you want to do is go ahead and format that. It doesn't take no time, hardly none at all, maybe a couple seconds, and you're good to go. So this is your base speed, and it comes a little under what is advertised on the box, but it still exceeds the requirements that Sony PlayStation requires you to use to be able to use the solid state drive. So you go through, and of course it lets you know that of course your M.2 has been formatted, and rebuild the database. And this process of it coming back on, you're like logging on, and yeah, it takes a couple minutes, allows you to let you know that you are beta testing the 2.0. And it has you wait. It's not a significant amount of time, but of course it is a short amount of time that so we're back in the UI, and of course running 2.0, you notice a significant difference. So go straight to the settings, and from settings you want to go to not system software, you want to go back out to storage, and as you can see, the M.2 solid state drive shows up and it shows it's ready. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to try to move from the console storage. We're going to move a game, and I decided to go through and of course move Ratchet and Clank because of the demands that it puts on the CPU, and just all the transitions that the game go through it's one of those games that actually is spelling upon the actual system, I guess bench testing. It'd be a good bench test to see how well the game runs on the expanded PCIe slot. So sitting here, we're getting ready to, of course, add that what's name. I had some problems finding the actual game because by default, I think all of my PlayStation 4 games went to the top of the menu, I guess because it's way more PlayStation 4 games versus PlayStation 5. So when I was actually able to locate the PlayStation 5 games which went towards the bottom, like I said, we're going to currently move Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart over to the expanded slot M.2 storage. So you go ahead and move that over, and it take virtually no time to sit there and move a whole game over to your extended solid state drive. So definitely less than a minute, I know it's seems like it's taking a long time, but it really goes fast. And as you can see, it's moved properly. Of course, tell you the prompt you not to turn off your PlayStation or anything like that while it's moving. And if you sit there and you go down to the actual storage, you see that it's no longer there, the game that you moved over. So you go back out of that prompt and go to your M.2 storage, and as you can see, you now have a game there. You have your Ratchet and Clank ripped apart, and it's ready to play. So we're gonna, of course, back up out of this, and we're gonna start the game and see how the game plays. Going through the UI, I'm sure you guys that own a PlayStation that hasn't experienced the new beta get to see the main difference, some of the small features. It's definitely I think a much needed change. You can find all your friends in one location in your chats, and it's less difficult to be able to do the things that you need to do. So definitely I think these changes are much needed. So I had to put the disc inside the console, and it's going and starting up. And as you can see, it's loading up just as fast as it would load up if it was actually on the internal memory, or I'm sorry, the internal storage memory that's provided day one by, of course, Sony PlayStation 5. The game runs pretty smooth. Try not to pay attention to my capture of this game. Now that is clearly the screen capture, the software that I'm using. That's and you may or may not notice it on the video, but I definitely noticed it watching the video. It's kind of like doing like a blinking thing. Now you definitely might pick up on it now and stuff like that. But that is not how the gameplay looks on your actual monitor or your TV. It's just clearly the Elgato screen capture software. I wanted to give a clean aesthetic look in the video, so I didn't look like I was sitting there holding my phone recording the screen. That's so ghetto. So I don't know, probably something I got to do within the settings to change that flickering from going on and stuff like that. But I think one of the reasons that I thought about it after I shot this footage, it probably is the fact that I was using my other monitor to play on and not playing directly from the screen capture. That's why it's probably doing that little flickering like that. I had that issue at one point when I'd be streaming sometimes, and I have the capture software open up the same time that I'm playing off of another monitor. So that's the reason why you got that flickering and everything like that. But I only got one take on that, so I had to keep the footage that I had. So don't speak too bad about me, disciples. But as usual, what I'm saying, I'm not gonna sit there and talk your head off. I'm gonna let y'all look at this gameplay, and as you can see, this is a very great game. I love Rip Apart. Definitely recommend it. Just the scenes and the graphics and the demand that it has on the processor and the CPU. This is definitely a good game to kind of give yourself a benchmark on how effective your solid state drive is going to be while you're playing games from those. So as always, I appreciate you, disciples, and of course, if you know like I know, if you're into the things that I'm into, then we have something in common, and I want to talk to you about it. Y'all take care, peace, join the gameplay, and links below down in the description if you're trying to be a part of this beta testing. The beta testing is going to be going on for about 30-45 days, so I have the link down below in the description that allow you to be able to sign up to be selected for the beta test. So take it easy, disciples. Peace.
Chapter.